Okay, let's try this again. I'm connected through my phone this time, so perhaps I won't lose my internet. Hi, my name is Courtney. I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. I know this is true because I've done it before. I will admit I'm not doing a great job of it now. A lot of you know this, but oh my gosh, it's been more than a year and a half ago now. I let them put me on a medication that was supposed to help with my pain levels, and it did not. All it did, I thank goodness I can laugh about it. All it did was just destroy my health, truly. And I have not, I've just not been able to recover. But I know it's doable because I've damn well done it before, and I'm not going to give up. That being said, I know I need to take a less aggressive approach. I need to be softer and kinder and gentler. And it's really difficult because my nature, when something is impacting me like this, I want to dig in my heels. I want to fight. I can't. I can't fight my own body. And if I don't learn how to get a grip on all of this, on the emotional aspect of all this, I'm sunk. That's just where I'm at. So, what's really important for your mental health? Forgiveness. And this is something people I think are surprised because I'm known as being very kind and cheerful and bubbly, and I am that person. But I'll tell you what, you piss me off, I will I will just keep handing you rope and keep handing you rope and keep handing you rope. But once you finally hang yourself with me, good luck, because I'm not proud of it, but I hold a grudge. I really do, because I am so willing to see. I try to see the best in everybody. So if somebody's a jerk, my first thought is almost always, gosh, they must be having a bad day. That's who I am. And I'm not going to let crappy people change that. But I need to work on forgiveness. This information, by the way, is from the Mayo Clinic. Well, okay, what the hell does that even mean? Well, obviously, like anything, it's going to kind of mean different things to different people. But essentially, what it means to forgive somebody is you're making a deliberate choice to let go of the hurt, the anger, the resentment, whatever you're feeling, the revenge fantasies. I'm really good at making those up. But you're making a deliberate choice to let go of all of that. It has nothing to do with the other person, okay? It doesn't excuse them. It doesn't make what they did to you okay. But what it does do, it gives you your power back. It allows you to move on, because you know what? People like that, they're not worthy. They're not at all worthy of the anguish that we often allow them to bring into our lives. And if you're like me and you're not only a grudge holder, but you're a ruminator, yeah, you can make yourself crazy over somebody who's just, they're not worth it. Another thing, this is very much my Pollyanna side, but another thing that forgiveness can do, it can lead you to have a little compassion for the other person. Now, I know, believe me, I know. But here's the thing, most people, they're just doing the best that they can with the skills they have available. And some people have really, really, really crappy skills. But for whatever reason, that's just where they are. When I can look at people from that perspective, which is certainly a softer and kinder perspective than things like, I hope you get tied down on an anthill and covered with honey. Not that I would, not that sweet little old me would ever have thoughts like that. But when you can see somebody, when you can offer them a little grace, it makes it easier, at least in my experience, to let go of whatever you're upset about. Do you know grudge has a lot of effects? Here's just a couple of them, but they're not good, obviously, because I don't want to say it's a negative thing, because I would argue that all of our uncomfortable feelings have a purpose, even anger and resentment. They do have a purpose, but you don't want to drag that resentment into every other relationship you have. I'm really bad about this when it comes to girlfriends. I've had um, the person that I was probably closest to in my early 20s. Betrayal doesn't even come close. It doesn't even come close to what she did. But I can't drag and this is this is a problem for me when I start to be friends with somebody a woman I just met. That other woman's always in the back of my mind. Well, what if? Well, what if? Hopefully, I'm a lot smarter than I was then. Hopefully, I am a lot more confident so I wouldn't let myself be put into those kinds of situations now. But it's not fair for me to judge. I have a friend in Texas named Sandy who's just freaking amazing. It's not fair for me to judge Sandy because of this other, I'm not even going to mention her name, even though nobody really knows her, but this other person's behavior. That's not fair. I need to let go of my anger towards that other person so that I'm not dragging that into all of my new friendships. It's hard. It's really hard. But holding on to a grudge, we do that to people. We're basically telling people, well, you're guilty of their crimes. They're not. Don't do that to people. When you hold on to a grudge, you tend to be more depressed, more anxious. It gives you a loss of connectedness. Well, sure. You're dragging that anger and resentment into every other relationship. We need relationships. We are social animals. We have to. I don't need anybody. Bullshit. Yeah, you do. Sorry, but you do. You may not need a lot of people, but you need somebody. Don't drag all that into a new relationship. Now, let's talk about some of the benefits of forgiveness. And of course, this is not a complete list either, but you're going to have less stress. You're going to have less anxiety. You're going to have less hostility. You're going to have better relationships. Well, sure, because you're not dragging all that baggage around. It's going to improve your mental health because you're not dragging all that baggage around. It can actually help lower your blood pressure. I don't have that problem. I actually have low blood pressure, but if you're an angry, resentful person, you might want to take a look at forgiveness. It's a pretty cheap fix. Not easy, but it's pretty cheap. Benefits of forgiveness include it's going to ease your depression symptoms. It's going to lower your anxiety. It improves your heart health. It improves your mental health. There's just so many benefits to it. And again, it has nothing to do with the other person. This is about you and your place in the world and how you choose to go through the world. Okay, great. So how the hell do you do it? Well, I will tell you my experience. It's not a one and done. If somebody's really hurt you, you're going to forgive them a lot. And at first, it's going to be so hard. You know what? I've started doing since my faith has gotten pretty, I would say pretty dang strong the last year or so. I'm not always good about it, but I try to pray for people that I'm having a hard time forgiving because look, I don't want to get off on a big religious thing here, but I've done some really horrible shit in my life. And if God can forgive me, then I can forgive other people. It's just that simple for me. You need to understand the value of forgiveness in your life. Again, this has nothing to do with the transgressor. Nothing. This is about you and what it means to you. You need to accept, okay, this woman, the other woman, this woman from my past, she did some seriously just, I would almost say unforgivable things. She truly did. But I need to accept how she made me feel. I need to accept all of the crap that went along with that. Because only when I accept those feelings can I let them go. It's a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. Now, granted, again, it's not a one and done. It's a choice. And you're going to probably have to forgive repeatedly and repeatedly. And there is somebody that I thought I had forgiven. And the other day they popped into my brain out of nowhere. And I was instantly, oh, you son of a, obviously, I had to forgive them again. But here's the thing. When you choose to hold on to that anger and that resentment, guess what? You're choosing to be a victim. You're not a survivor, you're a victim. You haven't overcome You haven't overcome a damn thing. Sorry, but you haven't. And I say this as somebody who has a hard time letting go of a grudge. Choose forgiveness, choose you. Don't choose victimhood. I know that's got a weird thing these days. Don't be a victim, for goodness sakes. Another thing, this doesn't work with this woman, but with most people, I really try to see the situation from their perspective, because you know what, even with that lady, I did have a role in it. I allowed her BS to continue. I allowed myself to be put in that situation. So I have a role in that. You bet your ass I do. I don't like it, but I do have a role to see things from her perspective. A lot of the stuff that she did to try to impress a guy. Um, I'm not sure how I'm going to really, I don't understand that perspective, because the things she did were so bad. But I know that's why she did them. So I don't understand her perspective, but I can kind of see it. Good grief, if I ever did something that horrible to another woman just to try to impress a guy. Oof. Anyway, if you're struggling to forgive somebody, you need to remember all the times that you needed to be forgiven, because we've all done horrible things. And you need to remember all the times that somebody gave you that grace. You need to extend that to others. Again, you got to remember, this isn't about the other person at all. Hell, it's not like I'm going to call up any of the people that I've had to forgive and say, guess what? I'm finally over it. It's not about them. They'll never even know. Who gives a damn? This is about me. This is about you and how you're going through your life. How do you do it? For me, I pray about it a lot. Again, I started fairly recently, not always good about it. I'll pray for the other person, because they are doing the best they can with the skills they have, and their skills suck. That's kind of sad when you think about it. Pray about it. Journal. A journal. You guys, a journal. I don't even have my journal in here, and I should. A journal is, in my opinion, which is, you know what they say about opinions, but it's the cheapest form of therapy. It really helps you work through a lot of these uncomfortable emotions. And you can write out, this is what this person did to me. This is how it made me feel. And this is why I choose to let go of those feelings. You'll be amazed what writing it out can do for you. Meditate about it. Meditate about it. And remember, it's a process. Anyway, that is all I have for today. I plan on being back Wednesday. I really need to get back in the habit of doing these, because they do help me stay on track with all the stuff I'm working on. And I'm trying a kinder, gentler approach to my overall health. And that includes certainly my mental health. So forgiveness was, I think, an important topic to cover. Anyway,